there's like quotes online. You'll always see these like motivational things where it's like, oh, just disappear off social media for like 6 to 12 months and then come back and surprise them all. Masa Kitamiya said, hold my sake, give me 2 months. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Noah Unleashed. If you're new here, I'm Melball. I like watching Japanese wrestling, and this is Noah Unleashed, a weekly news and review show where I tell ya all about my favorite current Japanese wrestling company, Pro Wrestling Noah. If you're not new here, welcome back to the Glorious Chaos. That is your Melball. So happy you made it. I have a really fun show to talk to you about today. It is the Kawasaki Summer Voyage 2025 show. But before we get into that, I need you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications to be alerted every time we drop a new video. Alrighty, you guys, without further ado, let's get into this show today. Again, as I mentioned in the intro there, this is the Kawasaki Summer Voyage 2025 show. It happened on August 1st. This girl got up 1 a.m. watching it live. I barely made it, but you know that the main event of this show rewoke me up and I had a lot of trouble getting back to sleep. So let's get into it. The main event was a GHC Tag Team Championship match featuring the champions Manabu Soya and Daiki Inaba taking on the newest member of Team 2000X. Haven't revealed it here. I did reveal it on my stories on my socials, but we'll kind of maybe surprise and amaze you guys when we get to the main event. So going into match number 1, this was a 6-man tag match that featured the team of Dragon Bane, Alpha Wolf, and Calibus taking on the team of Eita, AMAKUSA, and Junta Miyawaki. So a few notable spots in this one. We had Alpha Wolf popping up AMAKUSA and then just kind of catching him, grabbing him into a suplex and doing a nice delayed squat in there. AMAKUSA able to escape though, but cannot push the much larger Alpha Wolf to try to escape from him, and then does get nom-nommed on, as anyone facing Alpha Wolf does. AMAKUSA is so quick though, so quick, and is able to kind of escape Alpha Wolf and able to nail him with a pair of tilt-a-whirl arm drags, as well as a regular one, and then follows up with a dropkick. So Eita shaking the hand of Dragonbane, considering how wow, words are fun today. Antagonistic they were going into their feud with Kondo and Eita taking on Alpha Wolf and Dragonbane. It was nice to see, though a little hesitant, a handshake happening between Eita and Dragonbane. Dragonbane getting launched into the head scissors by Alpha Wolf onto Eita looked really super cool. They're getting excited back there. Los Golpeadores with a pair of rolling planchas, followed by Calibus with an inverted senton splash off the corner there. I had to actually message Andre C because I was like, what in the world is this? Had no idea. That looked really, really cool. Dragonbane and Alpha Wolf nom-nomming on Eita, as one does. He seems to be the flavor. I don't know. Maybe the meat tastes good. But Eita is able to escape the double team with like a wheelbarrow into a head scissor and a head takeover onto Los Golpeadores. So Miyawaki hitting his patented second rope plancha to the outside there, kind of skimming past Alpha Wolf, but then AMAKUSA coming in like a cannonball, wrecking ball, whatever you want to call him. He came in low, he came in fast, he came in balling, and he took out Alpha Wolf like a bowling ball. The finish comes though, a Mosca hitting that flipping corkscrew senton that he does onto Calibus for the win. This was a great way to open the show. It excited the crowd. Big crowd tonight too. Really loved the energy that they got to go in with. Amazing opener for this show. So from here, we're going to go on to match number 2, which was a three-way match that featured Shuhei Taniguchi taking on Super Crazy and taking on Black Mensore. The guys doing this really fun thing the last couple of shows where if the crowd isn't cheering them on, they kind of FO and leave the crowd. This started off the same way, Super Crazy kind of ticking off until the crowd started cheering for him again. He got excited and got back in there. So yeah, kind of playing that kind of pouting game. Mensore at one point distracting Taniguchi, getting him to play to the crowd while he secretly behind his back pinned Super Crazy, and this kind of started the breakdown of the partnership, if you will, between Taniguchi and Mensore in this one. There began a period of pin reversals here, and somehow in the chaos, the ref ended up also in the pinning predicament, and I believe he ended up pinning Super Crazy. Everyone kind of coming out, pointing at each other in the Superman meme, like, what? Including the ref. Really fun little spot. Got the crowd really excited as well. There was one point where Mensore is trying to do his rope walk, and Super Crazy goes up and shakes the ropes, knocking Mensore off and hitting his Mensores on the ropes on the way down. The finish comes with Super Crazy avoiding a Za strike from Black Mensore, which hits Taniguchi instead, and Super Crazy just simply rolls up Black Mensore for the win on this one. This was a lot of fun. You really gotta appreciate how much these guys work just to give you a giggle while still putting on a very educated and just really entertaining match. So this was a really good way to kind of go from the first match here. We're gonna go into match number 3. This is where things got very exciting for me because I was waiting for this match. I was waiting for this team. Okay, let's get into it. Match number 3. 8-man tag team match featuring the team of All Rebellion, which is Kaito Kiyomiya, Galeno, Alejandro, and Kai Fujimura, taking on the team that I have been like waiting for the combination to happen of Ulka Sasaki, Tetsuya Endo, Hayata, and Daiki Odashima. It's like this match in itself is just made for me, and I'm happy for it. So let's get into it. I just want to start by saying Daiki Odashima is so damn good. He's so talented. He's so good. He's so fast. He's so strong. This was a match of him, for me anyway, as a viewer, him really showing his never back down attitude, just going into everyone's faces. And like he's pretty comparable to Alejandro and Kai Fujimura, but Kaito Kiyomiya and Galeno. Like those guys dwarf Daiki Udashima, but that did not stop him. So let's talk about this match. Okay. Yeah. So again, Daiki Udashima, his moves are so crisp, so good, just so educated. And I brought that up initially because when he started with Fujimura, the two of these guys just flowed together so effortlessly well. It was so good. It was like these guys were born to do this, and we were just seeing them doing their everyday thing, and I absolutely loved it. Um, Endo coming in and hitting Galeno as hard as he can, but the big man not going down at all. Kiyomiya and Galeno ending up coming in to team up on Endo, flipping him down to his face, and then following it up with one of the flashy elbows from Kaito Kiyomiya and that big ol' wind up hitting the ropes body splash by Galeno. Um, from here, we go into Hayata with a swinging neck breaker on Alejandro before locking him into a headlock and then taking him into the corner, taking out to Udashima, and Udashima kind of taking over that headlock, going through the ropes a little bit. Alejandro tried to throw him off. Udashima saying, nay, nay. Nay, nay, he say, going back into the corner, taking out to Sasaki, who also continues the headlock, and then eventually because Sasaki is just so good with that technical wrestling, getting into the armbar and locking up the wrist, and then trading off to Endo there with the wrist lock. These guys, these four, we have seen kind of off pairings of them either against each other or kind of tagging with each other. Odashima tagging with Endo, Hayata taking on Sasaki, Hayata taking on Endo. Odashima's kind of like working with and against everybody right now. To see these four guys working so effortlessly together was just chef's kiss for me. So there was one point where Endo is bicep curling Alejandro, and that was for the girls. Endo hitting his powerbomb backbreaker on Kiyomiya, but Kiyomiya gets up and hits him with an enziguri before both men go down. Kai, Fujimura, and Alejandro coming in and hitting that back elbow, followed by the tabletop back elbow in the corner, and then the cartwheels and thrust kicks tag team on Sasaki. The leapfrog leg drop by Endo and Odashima on Fujimura, followed by stereo backflips just to show off, just cause I know I can't do a backflip. I can barely look backwards without falling over. These guys are so insanely talented. Odashima, just so close to his gut wrench on Galeno, but Galeno able to wiggle his way out of there, which I was really sad about. But Odashima does follow up with a bunch of drop kicks before Galeno nearly takes his head off with a boot to the face. Triple team by Sasaki, Hayata, and Odashima on Galeno, where Hayata and Sasaki get him into that double team suplex position. Odashima comes in, pushes the legs to make sure he goes fully over. Looks really, really good. Again, these guys working so well together. Anyway, the finish comes with Odashima going in for his top rope crossbody, and he gets some mad height. But Galeno catches him, redirects him, feeds him into the Galeno special, which is that snap double arm twisting brainbuster for the win. This match had me going to a point where they had me thinking Odashima was going to pick up a win on Galeno. That's how good these guys are at doing their jobs. I had so much fun with this match. This was the match I literally wanted to see on this entire show. At this point, the rest of the show was just cake. And there were a lot more matches to come. So let's get into match number 4, which is another 8-man tag match. This one featuring Team 2000X and the combination of Ozawa, Jack Morris, Daga, and Null taking on Naomichi Marufuji, Keno, Muhammad Yone, and Shuji Kondo. And I had a very interesting thing. They always show the name tags and like their signatures, their ages, all that stuff. I found it really, really cool that the team of Marufuji, Keno, Yone, and Kondo were all Team 40. Keno was 40. Marufuji, I believe he said was 45. I didn't write his one down. Shuji Kondo was 47. Yone, 49. And these guys are still moving so effortlessly. It was super impressive, especially against the pretty young, in comparison, Team 2000X. So let's get into it, you guys. Marufuji pissing with the wrong guy, really pissing with Keno at the beginning of the match. I'm like, dude, that's the one you should be nice to at this point. But it was really funny just to see him jumping in to do the fist pose and Keno just losing his mind. There's one point at the beginning here where Ozawa leaves the ring to bait out Marufuji. Once he does go out, he just hops back in. It was kind of just an act of obnoxiousness and aggravation from Marufuji. When they go back in, though, Marufuji and Ozawa doing the little pose that Ozawa always does. And then while they're laying on the ground, locking up in the grapple and eventually getting to their feet. Just a fun little way to kind of go through. I haven't seen that and I know I've seen it before, but I haven't seen it in a very, very long time. So Yone and Null was a fun little part for me because Yone getting excited, like, whoa, big boy. And yeah, he of course had to hit his patented disco taunt to Null. Null hitting a really nice flying clothesline on Yone. And Keno versus Null was a highlight of the night for me that I wasn't expecting because Keno also has that never back down mentality, sometimes to his detriment, much like Odashima in the match before. It was just absolute, just perfection, so fun. To his credit, though, I mean, again, Keno speaks with his whole chest and all conviction when he is getting into the ring, and he went right up and puffed his chest right into Null's. But yeah, it's Null, it's Null, and he definitely beat the heckin' crap out of him for a bit there. There was a beautiful frog splash by Jack Morris onto Keno, followed by a Falcon Arrow. Marufuji and Keno working together against Jack Morris, doing the Marufuji kicks, and then Marufuji having the presence of mind to stop when Morris dodged out of the way, avoiding hitting Keno. It was poetry. We even got a fist bump after. It was so good. So there was at one point a hair toss by Kondo on Daga where he was just standing, grabbed him, and yeet. It was just as a girl who relies on hair tosses, I don't think I'd do that either. It looks brutal. So the finish, the team also running the train in the corner on Kondo, hitting him with clotheslines, elbows, drop kicks, you name it, they did it. Daga finishing up with a backbreaker lariat. So the finish comes here though with Daga looking like he was going for those Diablo wings that he does, but Kondo manages to escape, and in the confusion of trying to regain control, Morris actually boots Daga in the face, allowing Kondo to shove Daga into Morris, removing him from the ring, and Kondo simply rolls up Daga for the win on this one, really folds him up lawn chair style. He wasn't kicking out at that. A little surprised. A little surprised on that one. A little surprised. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. But what surprised me further was the chaos that happened post-match. So post-match, chaos begins as the team begins to spat, getting angry at Morris. Morris and Daga shoving each other. And to be fair, Morris did boot his team in the face. And whether it was unintentional or intentional, I guess we'll have to wait and hear from Morris. But it was taken as intentional. The team begins to attack Morris, and Tatsu takes the mic and reveals that Jack Morris was jealous. Was jealous of Ozawa, his career, what he's been doing, and everything. So he has turned on Team 2000X, and therefore Team 2000X is turning on Jack Morris. He has been fired from Team 2000X. I have feelings on this. Team 2000X was getting a little big, especially with the newest member that we're going to talk about in the main event coming in. Team 2000X is getting a little big for its britches, I thought. But the last person I thought that would be removed from the team would be Jack Morris. So, I'm a little conflicted on this just because I feel like the combination of Daga and Morris also worked very well with these really big guy style wrestlers. They did great work with Omos. They did great work so far with Null. I'm a little concerned about what this might mean. But that being said, I'm really impressed with the stories that have been coming out of Pro Wrestling Noah this year. It's always so dramatic. There's always some kind of chaos going on, or there's something kind of awesome going on. So I'm interested to see what this means for the team, and if that maybe means that we're going to see maybe Jack Morris and Ozawa go into a feud, which I think would be absolutely fire, considering how amazing both of these guys are on mic. But with the N1 coming up, I think we're going to have to maybe wait a little bit until that is over before we start to see a little bit more heavy investment in stories. So from here, we're going to move on to match number 5, and it was a match I was also excited to see. This was a tag team match featuring Hajime Ohara and Atsushi Kotoge taking on another combination of Team 2000X in Tadasuke and Owada-san. So Ohara and Kotoge with a great tag team start on Tadasuke, first hitting stereo back elbows and then rolling Tadasuke through and hitting double pump kicks. Tatsu at one point pulling the leg out from Ohara and Owada-san, taking him out into the crowd. Tadasuke taking Kotoge out into the crowd and just tossing them into the barricades, tossing them into the chairs. Typical Team 2000X shenanigans, which I've grown to actually love. Tadasuke at one point even threatening an audience member with an umbrella. It's just glorious, glorious chaos. Back in the ring, the team working to alienate Ohara throughout the match with Owada-san running his mouth as he does. And it's just so funny. Gaining the ire of the crowd really came alive with the boos on this one. And when Ohara started to come back, Tadasuke ends up kicking him in the back again, pissing the crowd off. Boo, boo, boo. It was so good to see the crowd so on fire for this show. Owada-san also at one point choking Ohara with the wrist tape, the ref giving him shit about that later on. Kotoge hitting the real forever clotheslines, going back and forth and 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 back and forth, all the way to the turnbuckle. Just saying, Rocky. Anyway, then a Maxim cutter from Kotoge. Also, there were tilt-a-whirl backbreakers for both members of the team by Ohara when he comes back in. At one point, Tatsu on the apron to distract the ref and in an attempt to take advantage. However, Kotoge boots the chair into Tadasuke's face and then headbutts the team while Ohara takes out Tatsu and then hits a head scissors on Tadasuke as well as a backbreaker for 2 on Owada-san. So the finish comes here with Hajime Ohara locking Owada-san in the muy bien and then grabbing the arm so he has nowhere to go. He is stuck and he is forced to verbally submit, much to the delight of the crowd. Afterwards, Tadasuke attacks Ohara, but the team Noah stands proud, stands triumphant in the ring afterwards, and Ohara hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Tadasuke just for good measure. Because just for good measure. He deserved it. Anyway, post-match, Ohara getting the mic and doing some promo on there. Unfortunately, I still haven't learned Japanese yet. I'm working on it. I'm almost done learning the hiragana alphabet. I will get to a point where I can translate promos for you guys, but unfortunately, I'll just have to let you guys know what he said at a later date. So, from here, we are going to go into match number 6. I was looking forward to this as well. I know Lyric was as well on X. She was posting a lot about it. The Go Shiozaki return match, which is the N1. I almost said N7. What is this, Mass Effect? Return from Shiozaki for the N1 qualifier, taking on All Rebellion's Harutoki. I was so excited. So Shiozaki doing his absolute best to keep up with Harutoki in this and doing very, very, very well. At one point doing his best to keep that leg away though, because Harutoki was just focused in on that leg right away. I don't know how it happened, but the very early in the match, I noticed that Shiozaki started playing with his nose quite a bit. I don't know what happened, but we'll talk about what happened at the end of the match because it was very interesting kind of series of events. So Harutoki working the legs, obviously, to very, very smart. Coming back from a surgically repaired knee, it makes sense that would be a target. So in the ring, exchanging chops, and then to the outside, both men trading, tossing each other around into the barricades, with Shiozaki's chopping and DDTing Harutoki on the outside. Back in the ring, Shiozaki locks in a really good choke on Harutoki, and he struggles but still makes it to the ropes. Shiozaki then locks in another choke, and Harutoki does struggle with it for a bit, goes a little limp as Shiozaki releases the choke to try to pin him, but Harutoki is able to kick out. Crossbody by Harutoki for 2 looked really, really awesome. The machine gun chops by Shiozaki are just next level chops. I love their Kento Kobashi solid chops every single time. I absolutely love them. And followed by a fisherman hook fisherman hook brainbuster. Shiozaki going for a dive, but Harutoki is able to kick him out of the sky and then follows up with a pump kick and a single arm falcon arrow, which is very, very similar to the sunshine driver that Miyawaki does, but Shiozaki is able to roll his way out. So the finish comes. Harutoki hitting a step-up enziguri, followed by a German suplex, and then rolling Shiozaki through into a Euro clutch. For a surprise win, Harutoki qualifying for the N1, Shiozaki coming up short. And when Shiozaki rolls over, we got a nosebleed. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how it happened, but gosh dang, was this a great showing for Shiozaki? Coming back from injury, looking even better than before. And then Harutoki, who also was a little sporadic a little bit in the summer with his presence, coming back strong, qualifying for the N1. Let's freaking go. I am so excited for Harutoki. And I'm excited to have Shiozaki back. I've been missing that technicality, but also that just nonchalant kind of mentality and attitude that Shiozaki kind of has. So I'm excited to see him back. And I don't think that not qualifying for the N1 is going to be a detriment. He's going to have a lot of fun working those shows anyway. So, going to move on to match number 7, which is a special singles match, which was supposed to be Yohei versus Hiromu Takahashi, but the amazing and talented Yuto Kikuchi is taking on Hiromu Takahashi instead. I'm so excited! And rocking my Passion Ratels brand new shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees. So anyway, let's get into the match now that I'm done bragging. Both men locking up and reversing holds to begin this match before Kikuchi sends Takahashi. Ooh, that one's going to be a hard one tonight. Okay, Kikuchi sends Takahashi to the outside with a head scissors and then follows up with his handspring taunt. On the outside, Takahashi sends Kikuchi into the barricades and then hits a suplex on the outside. Always looks rough when he does that. At one point, Takahashi feeding Kikuchi chops, but Kikuchi starts returning his giant forearms, and it is epic. Kikuchi hits a beautiful hurricanrana on Takahashi, and then Takahashi hitting a really good Falcon Arrow. Kikuchi hitting his handspring, but Takahashi, I keep trying to say Takahashi, catches him and hits a release German just smooth as butter, and then feeds him another release German until Kikuchi hits his own. Kikuchi hitting a cross-legged Death Valley driver. I heard the commentary say cross break. Someone let me know if that's right in the comments down below. I'm not entirely sure. I heard cross break. That's what it looked like, a cross-legged Death Valley driver. Anyway, we'll move on from there. Takahashi hitting a code breaker on Kikuchi, followed by a Hiromu bomber, which is that big lariat that he learned from Shingo. And then also a Death Valley driver for 2. The finish comes suddenly after Takahashi hits a time bomb on Kikuchi for the win there. Really, really great match. Really, really great junior match. Very fast-paced, very, very experienced wrestlers going in there. The timing of the German suplex where Kikuchi was doing the handspring and Hiromu just grabbed him and whoop. So good. It's just so good. post-match, we see the GHC Junior Heavyweight Champion, hey, coming back, updating the fans, letting us know he is healing well and that he is expected to return soon, issues a challenge to Hiromu Takahashi and reschedules the match that they were supposed to have today for September 8th. I'm excited. Hiromu accepts, obviously. Obviously. I am so excited for this. We have the match set up. Hey, taking on New Japan Pro Wrestling superstar Hiromu Takahashi for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. Let's freaking go. So excited. So, okay. Went a little longer than I wanted to, but we had a lot of great matches. We're going to get into the main event here. I'm going to try to wrap it up as much as possible. There was a lot going on here, though, guys, and I need to share it with you because it was so good, and I need to convince you to watch it on your own. So, the main event here was a tag team match for the GHC Tag Team Championships, taking with, or blah, 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 blah. This is how excited for this match I am, you guys. GHC Tag Team Championship match. The champions, the Passion Ratels, Manabu Soya and Daiki Inaba taking on the newest formation of Team 2000X, Takashi Sugiura and Masa Kitamiya. This shocked the hell out of me. This was the last person that I thought would ever join Team 2000X, and I think that's why it happened. It's always the last one you expect, the least you expect. Because I was talking with a few of my friends. I was like, I wonder if it could be someone like Masa Kitamiya. But Masa Kitamiya seemed to be so adamant against the defilement of Team 2000X. So, when I saw this, I was like, poor shit! Well, it's not Sean Spears, but I'll take it. I will sure take it. So, let's get into this match, you guys. Immediately, when Sugiura and Kitamiya came out together, I was like, it's before and after. They almost, because they were wearing the same jersey and they have a very similar look with the scruffy beard, the shorter hair, they almost look like twins, but like Sugiura looked like the 50-year-old version of himself and Kitamiya looked like the 30-year-old version of Sugiura. It was phenomenal. There was what I wanted to also say about the transformation about Masa Kitamiya is there's like quotes online. You'll always see these like motivational things where it's like, oh, just disappear off social media for like 6 to 12 months and then come back and surprise them all. Masa Kitamiya said, hold my sake, give me 2 months. And here we are. Like, bro turned up. I didn't even recognize him. Like I said, I thought he was a little Sugiura. So yeah, really, really interesting change of character. Again, I'm here for it because as I'll mention throughout the match, we got a whole new level of sass coming out of Kitamiya that I'm kind of like living for. So Kitamiya attacking Junta Miyawaki before he even like gets to the ring. When Miyawaki steps in between Kitamiya and a fan who he's decided to yell at for booing him, and then tosses him into the post and the barricade and almost kind of yells at the fan like, see, I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for you, kind of thing. Again, all before the champions even come out to ringside. So, right at the bell, Kitamiya clowning Soya, making fun of his serious face, because Soya was obviously not too happy as the reveal of Kitamiya was at the expense of Manabu Soya. So Kiyomiya, again, showing that dastardly side and really clowning and just yanking around on the hair of Soya, just really showing that dastardly side of his. I do like the new singlet, though. It looks really good. The coloring's really good. The make of it is really good. I appreciate the new gear. Anyway, okay, moving on. The ref, oh, wait a minute. On the outside, Kitamiya tosses Soya into the barricades and then back into the post, much to the boos of the crowd. The ref maintaining control and refusing to count a pin at one point after Masa Kitamiya used a closed fist. Inaba showing a bit of hesitation when entering against Sugiura. The last couple of times he's going in there, he's kind of ended up with a third eye problem there. Sugiura, though, trying to throw Inaba into the barricades and ends up getting thrown himself, and then ends up getting knocked into it again before Inaba follows up with a cannonball. Inaba sidestepping the high kick from Sugiura, but Sugiura avoids the flying shoulder tackle, kneeing Inaba and sending him to the outside to a waiting Kitamiya. Kitamiya from there tosses Inaba into the barricades, chops him a couple of times, and then throws Black Mensore into him, and then delivers a meeting of the minds of Inaba and Black Mensore. It seems like Kitamiya has almost started taking some advice from Lance Archer and like weaponize the younglings. I wouldn't call Mensore a youngling, but he is at the ringside kind of acting as a liaison there to kind of protect everybody. So, hey, I'm now like considering when I go there, maybe I need to buy some tickets further back from the ring for my own safety from Masa Kitamiya, because I know my mouth will get me in trouble with that man. Anyway, where was I there? Oh, okay, the barricade. Okay, meeting in the mind. Back in the ring, the team showing some smart tag team wrestling, tagging in and out, and just hitting Inaba with body slams, just scoop body slams. And then again, like they must have done about 5 or 6 of these back and forth, but very, very smart, tagging in and out, exhausting Inaba like that. These guys beat the ever-loving piss out of Inaba. I felt so bad. At one point, he was barely able to roll over to break a pin. Soya in with a bulldog, followed by a twisting neck breaker. And then Sugiura hitting a spear on Soya, followed by his avalanche brainbuster for 2. Kitamiya absorbing Inaba's strikes and then feeding him some chops, but Inaba drops him with a flying shoulder tackle. There's a Blue Thunder bomb by Inaba for 2. Kitamiya avoiding the shoulder corner spear from Inaba and then hitting a double underhook suplex on Soya, followed by a big lariat in the corner. The Passion Ratels hitting the Passion corner spear finally, and then the cannonball combo, followed by the spear lariat, but Sugiura is able to break that up. Soya with a release German and then runs into a DDT for 2 on Kitamiya. Kitamiya with a Saito suplex on Soya. Inaba hitting a spear on Kitamiya. Sugiura hitting Inaba with just a wicked knee to the chest. Holy heck. And so snappy, so quick. Where was that? Yeah, with the lariat. Oh, yeah, wicked knee, and then follows up with a lariat, dropping Inaba. Kitamiya with a face crusher, and then just slamming Soya's face into the ground. Then Kitamiya hitting a delayed pile driver for 2. Let's get into the finish here, you guys. The finish comes Kitamiya hitting a Saito suplex, then lifting Soya up to lift. Oh, yes. So okay, let's try this again. The finish comes Kitamiya hitting the Saito suplex, going for a pin on Soya, but then pulling him up after the 2 count, and then locks on what commentary called the stranglehold. And I had to actually message my trusted friend and colleague Andre C to be like, what is this thing? He had no idea. So I'm going to describe it to you as he described it to me. It makes sense to me. So this was the stranglehold. It looks like a full Nelson leg trap with a deep solid squat, pretty much pushing Soya's head far down into his chest. Soya passes out and the match ends, and we have new GHC tag team champions in Masa Kitamiya and Takashi Sugiura. Not too much pomp and circumstance from these guys. They're just kind of like, hey, we won. I am the chairman. Eat it. I don't know. I don't know what he said, but the vibe was very like the vibe was very like what am I trying to say? It wasn't nonchalant. It was very like arrogant. Like we knew this was going to happen, and yeah, look at the powerhouses that were in there. Yeah, we knew it would happen. I also had a good chuckle though at the end when they're trying to throw up the axe. Bro's arms are so thick they can barely get them crossed for the team celebration. The team does come out, not all the way to the ring, but they do come out of the curtain and do pose with the new champions, new members. We now have an updated picture of the current members of Team 2000X. The team stands tall despite a rough night. What an interesting show. I wasn't expecting Team 2000X to pick up wins right away with the tag titles. I would have liked to see that kind of go a little bit more, but again, we're going into the N1. Major stories kind of need to kind of take a side seat right now while we focus on the championships, or sorry, on the newer championship contender after Marufuji on the 16th. So, yeah, that brings us to the end of the show, you guys. Did you guys have a chance to take in the Kawasaki Summer Voyage show? Were you looking forward to seeing Hiromu taking on Yuto Kikuchi? I know I was. Were you guys shocked to see new GHC tag team champions? I know I was shocked to see Masa Kitamiya suddenly looking exactly like Takashi Sugiura and now holding a championship. I wonder the implications that this is going to have going forward, not just maybe for the dojo, but for, who else wants to try to challenge for any kind of titles, not even just the tag titles. I'm interested. I'm interested to see where the glorious chaos kind of goes from here. But we're going to get out of here, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to OLE, and turn on notifications so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video. If you're wanting to follow a Melball for a daily dose of my glorious, glorious chaos, you can follow me on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can follow me on everything else, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, Blue Sky, at Melball Collins. If you're wanting to watch some pro wrestling, Noah, I will leave a link for Wrestle Universe in the description box below. It is 1,298 yen, or approximately 13 Canadian. It's an amazing price for some amazing professional wrestling because you not only get access to pro wrestling, Noah, you also get access to Mari Gold, you get access to DDT, Tokyo Joshi Pro, and so much more. So you want to check that out. What else? What else? You can also check out more of Noah's talent on their Japanese channel, which I will also leave linked in the description box below, as well as their English channel. The English channel doesn't post quite as much as the Noah channel, and the Noah channel does not have English subtitles, but do you really need subtitles when you're watching Kaito Kiyomiya eat spicy noodles? I think you have all the translation you need from his screams of horror. So, again, I will leave links for those in the description box below. And I think that brings us to the end of everything here. That all being said, I am your Melball. Matane. Mwah.